In this video, you're going to learn what I believe are the top 2 most important parts of discus technique that will help you throw farther faster. So you're here, you're watching this video because you want to throw a little bit farther or a lot farther. And from my experience, I found that working on 2 things dramatically increase your ability to throw farther. First, work on turning your feet. So the whole idea of rotational technique, whether you're throwing discus or even rotational shot put, you have to turn on your feet. And if you're not turning on your feet well, you don't spin well and you don't throw well. It's that simple. So you always need to be working on spinning on your feet. Item number 2, the second thing that you can work on, that always of the top 2 things you can do to improve your throwing, is pushing the implement. So not just turning your foot, it's not just slamming it. You need to push the implement, pushing the implement. So since I'm a right-handed thrower, say I'm throwing in this direction. Pushing is that turning of your right foot, pushing against the ground on the inside of your foot, hip moving ahead of the shoulder, pushing the discus. I'm always training to push the discus and to turn on my feet better. So how do you do that? You practice turning on your feet by doing drills. So you may have seen in other videos where I do drills like turns on a line or just one-step drills out of the discus ring. That's it. It's not complicated, but it takes a while to learn. So add drills into your training every week, maybe once, maybe twice. You specifically work on drills. All you've got to do is train what you're trying to accomplish. And so you need to try to accomplish turning on your feet and pushing the implement. Okay, how do I practice pushing the implement? I throw med balls or other type of objects into a net. Okay, so all we're trying to do when we push the implement is have our hip move ahead of the shoulder. So you've heard people talk about having tension or separation in your hips, between your hips and shoulders. That's what this is. That's all it is. But it's the process of your back leg turning and pushing, which engages the knee, which engages the hip, which then pushes the implement. So whether if you're throwing shot put, you're pushing the implement like here, or discus, arm is back, push the implement in here. So you literally just throw anything, even a discus, specifically work on that moment. So let's come over here to the net and I'll show you how I practice pushing. If I'm going to train pushing with the discus with something a little bit heavier than a 2K implement, so whether a 5-pound ball or a 6-pound ball, even an 8 or a 10-pound, the point I'm doing is teaching that my hip does the work. So our tendency as discus throwers, a lot of us, is to yank and pull down on the implement. That only works up to a point. To throw really far, like what helped me throw over 64.5 meters was pushing the implement. So all that is, to learn that, is you're in a spot where your shoulder is behind your hip. So notice, here's my shoulder, it's behind, here's my hip, here's the shoulder. In a position like that, all I'm going to do is engage that right leg a little so that this moves before this, maintaining tension. See how simple that was. It's here, a little bit of a push, and that leads to the throw. What I don't want you to do, don't just turn your foot. Like, part of throwing is turning, and that's what I said earlier. You've got to turn on your feet. But you can miss the pushing part by just turning. You could be over here and just turn your feet and whip the discus. That's not what you want to do. You want to work the ground. Turn the inside of your foot. Let the knee, the right foot, the right knee, the right hip drive your discus. Push the discus. That's what you want to think. So when you start pushing the discus, you got to start with a simple drill like that. And then as you get used to it, and you get used to that right side moving first, pushing the implement, you can start adding that into, if you're doing your stand throws or your power throws, even into your half turns. Because The more complicated the spin is, the harder it is to focus on pushing. So you practice pushing from doing drills into a net, standing into a net throws, and you practice rotating on your feet by doing drills in the back of the ring, drills turns on a line, drills in the middle. And eventually, as you train both of those things, as you throw, they combine together and your technique improves and your power output improves. And that's the goal, is what you're trying to do. So let's recap here. Top two most important things you can do to improve your discus technique is practice turning on your feet and practice pushing the implement. Practice both of those. When you do your drills, keep that in mind. Is this drill helping me turn on my feet? Is this drill helping me push? If it's not a yes to either of those, then I'd question doing it. This is the most important thing you can do, and this will dramatically increase your throws this season, this year. So good luck. I've got one more thing for you. I've put together a list of what I believe are the 3 critical areas of throws training, areas that I've identified in my own training that have set me apart, and things that when I didn't do, I got worse. And I put them in a document that you can download. The link is in the description. It's freaking great. I just want you to download it. So go for it. If you want to throw farther, I challenge you, download that, and I'll see you on the next video.